Now I'm going to dance.
Easy, easy.
Can't do it any other way.
Not so wild, Nora.
This is the way.
No, that's not it. That's not right at all. That's not right. Yeah, do. I can correct it better then.
Let me do it live. Ready?
Okay, go on. Ready? Yeah, you go easy. Smaller steps. Use your hips, Nora. Easy. Nora, you're dancing like your life depends on it.
It does.
I chose The Doll's House because it's so important, a play, and we try here in the theater program to show students plays we feel they should know. Also because Michael Gillespie, the dean, suggested some years ago that I direct it. And I was hesitant to do it because there are a lot of stereotypes about the play, and it's so well known by some people, as like myself, that I just didn't want to venture near it. And the other problem is that it's such a small cast. We like to cast things that students have, so students have a lot of experience. I finally decided this year I've got to do it. It's been in my head a long time.
Now I'm going to dance.
Easy, easy.
This is the way.
Not so wild, Nora.
I can't do it any other way.
No, this is not the way. Stop it.
And though I love the Victorian period and I love the costumes and so on, I really felt it was important for students to find a way to update their understanding of this play. It's so easy to write it off as, oh, that's the way it was in the 1800s. Back in the day, women had these problems, when we know very well that women continue to have these problems and of being too controlled by the husband who has money. That's a constant issue that people struggle with. That message is very important. I just didn't want people to dismiss it as something that happened a long time ago. So I wanted to find a way to update it, and I thought the 1950s fit perfectly because of the huge drive for everyone to settle down, have a family, have lots of children, and to make that work, the woman could stay at home, that it was a privilege to stay at home, and the woman should be happy to be a housewife. That seemed to me a very interesting place to go. Even though, of course, it's distant from our students today, it's closer, and the skirt lengths are shorter, and lots of identifiable elements to the world they live in.
Smaller steps, smaller. Here you go. Watch your hips.
When the first couple times I read it, I honestly was not very excited about playing that role, even though it's a pretty big role and any actor should want to jump at it, but I just thought this guy's really not a nice person. But I think that the fact that this is kind of an updated version, this is like a 1950s kind of take on it, and Professor Dowling, I think, is looking for a little bit more of a balanced approach between Nora and Tom. I think it makes it a little bit more accessible and a little bit, as an actor, you're able to relate to the character a little bit more because he's not just this kind of, tyrant and just, really nasty person.
And I think also with the both of us playing the same role, you can't really compare the two, and I think the performances will show that because we both bring our own experiences and our own interpretation of the same script. I mean, we just had a line the other day that I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. We couldn't use it, and Sam had a way of looking at it that was like wow, that makes sense. I think it makes sense for Tom, or for this Tom, Sam. Whereas I didn't see that. So if I had delivered the same line the same way, I don't think the audience would believe it. But when Sam delivered it, even I sat back and was like, oh, that's perfect. So I think it's unfair to say that because we're playing the same role that you can see both performances and expect to see the same thing happen, because we're different people, different motivations, and I think we bring our own uniqueness to each role, and I think the audience will appreciate that, especially if they come see all the performances. No, I wouldn't want you any different than you are. Remind me of Skyline. But you know, it strikes me that you're looking rather like you've been up to some mischief today.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You've been eating chocolate, haven't you?
You've been eating chocolates, haven't you?
Chocolate? Really, Tommy, I wouldn't do something like that.
Chocolate. Really, Tommy? I wouldn't do that. I don't want to do anything that you wouldn't like.
Oh, I'm not so sure of that.
Don't want to do anything you don't like.
I'm not so sure of that, but
But you keep your little Christmas secrets to yourself, sweetheart.
you can keep your little Christmas secrets to yourself, though. Looking forward to a good evening tonight.
You remembered to invite David, didn't you?
I used double casting because I really want students to have an opportunity to perform. I think they learn something from performing that they really can't learn anywhere else. And we have a theater program. We have a lot of students who really want to be actors. And until they really get on stage and see what it's like, I don't think they can make a good decision about whether they're cut out for it or not. And even if they decide not to pursue acting as a career or even theater as a career, they learn something from the process. It's really extraordinary. I feel very, very fortunate to watch the sorts of changes that students go through when they're able to be in a play, when they have that steady rehearsal process and then come to performance. Professor Jorf is involved in doing the choreography because a number of years ago when I met him, we discussed our backgrounds in theater and dance. And he's a very accomplished choreographer and was eager to have an opportunity. Well, I wouldn't say eager, but he was interested. In this play, there's just that small dance moment. But it's complicated when you have a dance moment that's within a play and it's actors as real people doing a dance. And the students seem to really enjoy working with him. I find him amazing, very talented, sensitive to what needs to be done, and that's why he was working with us. It's a great opportunity for everybody.